All right, so today I have collected 9 books that were the winners of many different sci-fi and fantasy awards, and I wanted to discuss them and rank them because we are now approaching the 2023 book award season. Probably the day or so after this, the Goodreads Choice Awards season will have started. For better or for worse on BookTube. But I figured for this, we have awards for most everything except, I think, the British Fantasy Sci-Fi Award. I think those don't get released till like April. I'm not waiting to April to do this because I have most of these books now. So first, we're going to start with books that I haven't read and just discuss if I'm going to read them or not. And then we're going to get into my ranking for the top 6 and what I think about them. So, in no particular order, let's talk about I believe this is the Chaos Subjectivity Award. I don't know much about this award, but someone shared it in our Discord. We have like an SFF awards chat, and I liked the winner for the fantasy one. This is the winner for their sci-fi category, and that's The Mountain in the Sea, which was on a lot of shortlists. Maybe not a lot, but it was on the Nebula shortlist, which is a pretty big award. And this is a book that I think is supposed to be like a sci-fi thriller, more hard sci-fi, kind of like Jurassic Park, but I don't know if it necessarily delivers on that kind of comparison. And it's about intelligent octopus, potentially. I have taken this book out of the library. I do not know if I'm going to read it. Like, never say never. There could always be a chance where I pick up the audiobook or I'm at the library and I read a chapter or two and it completely captures my attention. But currently don't have active plans to pick this up. The next sci-fi we'll talk about, I believe this is the winner for the Locus Awards. Locus Awards are public voting awards. I think you get extra votes if you subscribe to the magazine or something like that. I always forget to nominate and vote for those awards, even though they're very public. And so the winner for the sci-fi section of this is the Kaiju Preservation Society, which was on the shortlist for the Hugos, I believe. This is a John Scalzi. He is known for his popcorn, kind of more comedic sci-fi stuff. This year he has The Starter Villain that just came out. This was his pandemic book, and I think it takes place during the pandemic where we have someone who is a food courier and then gets a job working with kaijus at the Preservation Society. I think there's like some dimensional stuff going on. This is another Never Say Never. I think I would be more likely to read this if the audiobook was not Audible exclusive, because it seems like it'd be a fun audiobook time, but I don't buy Audible. So if the audiobook is not available to me through my library, it doesn't usually happen. It's essentially how my audiobook life goes. I have to really want the audiobook to spend the money, because I don't re-listen to audiobooks that often. And also, I just hate the premise of an Audible exclusive books, especially when you know how much money they aren't paying their authors and the production teams anyways. So, that's my little ramble there. But Kaiju Preservation Society definitely was a big winner of that year in terms of like word of mouth, people having fun with it, things like that. And then the one I'm most likely to read of the books that I haven't read, and that is Saint Death's Daughter, which just won the World Fantasy Award. This was put on my radar by my friend Jocelyn, who used to have a channel, Yogi with a Book, and she's been wanting me to read it. I do currently have a hold on it at my library, so when it comes in, if I have the time, I do want to give it a shot. But this, I think, has definitely gone under the radar. I don't know a lot about it other than Jocelyn read it, gave it her endorsement, told me I should read it, which honestly, when you have friends like that and we have similar tastes, it's like, yeah, I should really just try it out. And I do love a good potential hidden gem, underrated book. So this one, especially since in the past, when I look at the World Fantasy winners, it aligns a lot with my taste. And that's my thing about awards, right? Like, I do a lot of award content on this channel. I should probably make a playlist for it one day. But each award measures something, and the key is finding the awards that line up with your tastes. If you want to like find books to read, like if you want to make a TBR based off awards, you got to find the ones that align with your taste. And more often than not, winners of the World Fantasy Award are like favorites of mine. So that also, makes me kind of want to, even though I know the judging panel changes. So like, maybe I shouldn't use that logic, but there's a part of me that kind of does. All right. And so then next up, we have all the books that I have read. And actually, I lied. I'm looking at this list and I forgot to add a book, and I am so crushed. So there are 7 books we get to talk about. So this is we're looking at 10 books instead of 9, which is a better number. But that doesn't really change my order that much, I don't think. So we're going to start with the winner of the Ignite Awards, which is easily the only book. Well, there's one other book that I don't like, but I really didn't like this book, and that's The Blood Trials. But yay for this book. Like, I'm happy for fans of this book. I'm happy for this author. The Blood Trials won. I gave it like 2.5 stars, maybe 2 stars. I don't know. It's a plot-driven book with a first-person perspective with a chip on their shoulder character who is dumb. She's just dumb and infuriating and frustrating. And so that's why. I don't think it's badly crafted or anything like that, but it was very plot-driven and I didn't like the main character. So for me, that doesn't really work, and like the world building wasn't intriguing enough. I never finished the duology. I think it was supposed to be a trilogy and it was squished into a duology. And I haven't heard glowing reviews about the second book, and considering what I thought about the first one. So this is easily, like, when I was ranking, bottom of the list. Now, not far behind is the next one, and this is the winner of the fantasy category for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that is House of Sky and Breath. Oh, that was a long, nothing book. It was very long. And I like Sarah J. Maas. I enjoy her books. I wanted to enjoy this book, but I think she works best when she's actually focusing on developing character relationships and helping characters heal or grow through something, and none of that happens in this book for the most part. And also, she wrote more alpha male perspectives than she wrote Bryce perspectives. I'm almost convinced. And there are other female characters that she just actively chose not to write perspectives for. And I'm just like, I know this is what you do. I know these are your favorite archetypes, but it's too much, and there's too much nothing going on in this many pages. Am I going to read the third book? Yes, I need to know how it ends, but yeah, this was a big disappointment for me, especially because I reread the first book and I loved it. I loved it the first time and I loved it the second time. The first book is so good. Second book, no. And then this next one, we're getting into more of these are fine. I see why people like them sort of things. And this is Sea of Tranquility. This was the winner for the Goodreads Choice Award in Sci-Fi. And this makes complete sense to me because there are not that many sci-fi readers on Goodreads compared to general fiction readers, and this is that perfect crossover book. And I mean, it's pretty good, especially if, like, this is your first time experiencing these types of tropes of interconnected short stories. It's a fairly accessible form of that. It just pretty much left my brain the minute I finished reading it. That's why it's just fine for me. It didn't do anything too special for me compared to other things that I had read, and that's it. And it's like, calling it sci-fi is a very, very, very loose definition. Like, yes, there are sci-fi components, but it's really not about that. And it's another pandemic book. You can tell that she wrote this during the pandemic. There's a lot of author insert, which, like, I can take or leave it. I think there was focus on some parts that shouldn't have been focused on as much, but what I will give this book is it did not overstay its welcome. So I was happy about that. The audiobook was fine. But again, I see why it won the Goodreads Choice Awards in science fiction, having read it now. And it generally worked at my local book club, but for the most part, we were all kind of underwhelmed by it. Like, it was fine. Like, it was an okay book. Now, this next one is definitely better than okay, and honestly, I thought it was going to sweep award season. And it oddly didn't, and this is Babel by R.F. Kuang. So I think Babel won 2 awards. I believe it was the winner of the Locus Awards for fantasy, and it won the Nebula. So, I mean, it definitely won the most awards of all the books that I'm going to talk about. And we still don't know why it wasn't on the shortlist for the Hugos, because they refused to give us the stats. For reasons I don't understand. I don't know how they don't have the stats. I don't know how you vote without compiling numbers. I don't get it. We're just going to leave it there. Who knows? But Babel, for me, I have a review for it. I have a long review about Babel and my conflicted experience with it. It's a 3.5 star for me. I do really like what she's trying to do with the ending. I think there's a lot of execution flaws for me and my tastes and my character connection or lack thereof with her characters and the pacing of the story in the middle, but it's not a bad book, and I'm not surprised that it did well during the awards season. I mean, she's a really well-known, well-loved author. I think people are excited that this type of story is being told by an author like her. It's just that, like, for me, it was just okay because of my experience with her works, like, as a reader. Like, her character work has not gotten better for me since I've read The Poppy War. And for me, I have read other books that handle these themes way better for me and my tastes. I think I even read, like, Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong, which isn't, like, technically the same type of book, but, like, in terms of the preachiness of, like, othering people and academia and stuff like that, like, I preferred that version way more, even though they're both so on the nose, it's aggressive. But yeah, so, Babel, here it is. Got a lot of special editions that year, so, honestly, people almost thought it could beat Sarah J. Maas in the Goodreads Choice Awards. That was never happening. Like, it's the vote count difference is staggering. Okay, staggering. And now we get into my top 3. These 3 books that have won awards are my favorite books of the times that I've read them. And so what am I ranking them on? Am I ranking them purely on are they favorites of mine, or am I ranking them based off they deserve the award? And I think I'm going to go with the latter, because I think that's maybe a little bit more interesting, or gives you insight into who I am when I think about awards and what I think of as an award-worthy book, and what awards I tend to gravitate towards. So, like, for me, I personally, when I'm looking at awards and, like, making TBRs for myself and, like, wanting to read books, I want to read things that are different in their genre, that are pushing boundaries, that are also representing a time that we're in. Like, I want it to be something that can, like I said, both show me where are we as a community in this genre space, but also who is pushing boundaries. What are some new, different things that I haven't picked up yet? It's that kind of thing that I'm looking for in award books. And it's totally okay that not all awards are meant to do that. I'm not expecting certain awards to do that. But for me, this is what I like. This is what I want. And so for that reason, even though it's actually probably objectively my favorite book on this list, it's number 3. It's Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. Nettle and Bone's a very good book. And it's honestly pretty representative about, like, where we're at in terms of, like, whimsical meets dark fairy tale and stuff like that. We got a lot of that going on that's transitioned kind of into this comfort, cozy fantasy thing we're doing. But at the end of the day, this was just a fun adventure story for me that reminds me of movies like Stardust, and in my head, that's not an award book. In my head, it's a good time. It's a great book. It did show me one of my new favorite authors, so I'm really excited about it, and I'm honestly so glad that T. Kingfisher is getting more recognition. So I'm not upset that this won the Hugo by any means. Year of T. Kingfisher, let's go. But in terms of me ranking these books, this one is just not as award-worthy as the other 2 I'm going to bring up, because I think it only loosely represents the time period, and I don't think it's really pushing boundaries or changing up its genre. If anything, it's really knowing the tropes and playing with them so efficiently and effectively that it creates such a tight, well-crafted story. But again, I don't know if that makes it so that I want it to be like the award book. Like, is that what I want from a Hugo book when I'm, like, making a TBR? Maybe. I mean, it's not bad. But again, we all know I was underwhelmed by this Hugo list anyways this year. You can see my reaction to the Hugo shortlist video if you really want to know, if you missed that. I was incredibly underwhelmed. So of all the options, this was my happy place, but I didn't like the options and they weren't things that I nominated. Well, maybe I did nominate Nettle and Bone. I can't remember. I have a video for that too. It was months ago. Time is fleeting. So now we have these last 2, and this was really hard. This was really hard. But I think my number 2 was the winner of the Ursula K. Le Guin Fiction Award, and this is Arboreality. This is a novella, but they include novellas, short stories, and novels. So I mostly kept this list to novels. I didn't include novellas, but for this award, they didn't have, like, a novel and novella section. They just had the winner. And I loved this novella, and I think it really represents our time right now in terms of climate crisis. It takes place in Vancouver, or an island, maybe Vancouver Island, and it's this generational novella story about this area with the wildfires and climate change and what happens generation after generation as humanity is adapting and surviving. And it's both realistic and hopeful, and it's everything I want sci-fi to always be doing. And I'd never read anything like it, but it's representative of the now. Like, it met all of my, like, internal criteria, and it's stunning. Like, this book is stunning. And I love that the award is giving it more highlights, because this is a book that's from a small press in Canada that nobody knows about. So basically, this is the type of thing I'm searching for with awards. And then the last book, again, I should look up this award because, you know, I don't know much about it, but the reason I added this award is because this book was on it, and that is, I think, like, the Chaos Subjectivity Award that was posted in my Discord, and this is for The Spirit Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. I don't like this book as much as the last 2 I mentioned. This is like a 4.5 star for me because it's a challenge. But again, nothing is more original or unique, but also loving its genre than this book. Like, when I think of what is art that I have loved in the past couple years that is unique, that is also telling me, yeah, you love fantasy because you love all these components, and here, let me play with them. That's A Spear Cuts Through Water. I don't have a standalone review to point you to that I've made because I don't know how to talk about this book. But it's this epic. We have this man who gets transported to this theater to sort of learn about the story of his people, but he doesn't really like know that. And I think this man's from like the mid to early 20th century. And we're that man. We are the you. And there's a chorus. There's a Greek chorus that helps to tell this story. And then there's the story that we're actually in with these warriors that have to go on this quest to help transport this goddess from one land to the other. And there's basically in this course of a week on this land, huge changes happens. And there are these magical creatures and there are these curses. It's a grand, sweeping epic that is emotional, that is theatrical. It's larger than life. It is challenging. It's a challenging, dense read, but it is a fantastic standalone that truly understands epic fantasy while being very true to its roots, its Filipino, influences and everything like that. I loved this book. I'm so sad because I just know that it's because not many people picked it up that it wasn't nominated more often. I do feel that it's just one of those books that was harder to read, harder to get to because it's a thick boy, it's a denser boy, and so it didn't get nominated for a lot of things. And because I do think it was fantastic in all the ways that I want an award-winning book to be fantastic. And I'm almost positive it would be a 5-star read on my reread. I wish I had a better audiobook narrator. I don't like the audiobook narrator, and because it feels like a book that should be oral, like you feel like it should be told to you because you have this stage-like thing, I wish I just liked the audiobook narrator more, personally. So those are my thoughts on these 10 books, 7 of them that I've read, 3 of them that I haven't read. Let me know what you think of these winners of varying awards. I'll probably put together a playlist of all the award talks that I have down below because I tend to do that a lot because I'm nosy. I want to know what people are thinking. I want to know what books that I haven't read yet that I should be reading. Things like that. Are there any awards you think I should look into? I did not include the British Fantasy Sci-Fi Award because I'm pretty sure, like I said, the awards that are currently out are for 2021 books, and I was trying to compare all the 2022 books here. And like I said, I don't think they release theirs until like April. So I guess we'll see what they think is the winner come then. If you want to just leave an emoji to let me know you're here. Is there like a prize emoji? Like, a blue ribbon prize? If there is, leave that or something adjacent to that. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.